Time to set the stage with the lights off. Let the little nigga breathe till the fight's lost. You ain't never like the room with the bright sauce. Hail Mary, they despise what the light brought. Let them roach niggas bleed if they can't see. sa.neter TV, what you can't be. They say that murder on my mind, now they can't breathe. Take a picture of the crew, that's your last peep. Oh, and need me or love, yeah, that's just me. Keep them jumping like some frogs, so they might be what the sun says. And they don't really wanna bleed from the gunplay. And like mine, niggas smoking weed on the one-way street, nigga. Yeah, we see we outside with it. Pull up to debates like we might be with it on guard. Side these niggas like bullshit and they fraud. Let me chop them down with the sword. Walk them down like they live bars. This the toughest you gon' be in, we too hard. And you don't really want that smoke, my G. With sa.neter TV, this the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Keep that off your lip before you get flipped. We got sources over here, we don't just spit. Too many bosses over here, y'all just legit. Put them niggas in the game, let them get real. Don't even step unless you come in with that scholarship. That economic tip, gotta make a dollar flip. And I might be next, I don't give a damn, a truth rolling with me, so I'm feeling like the son of man. Too many gon' hate, gotta make a stand. I'm just trying to duck the lake, you don't understand. Read them when I greet them, that's my best plan. Head first shit, I'm just saying. Nigga meet me in LA, oh you just playing. Too many be fake, what the base saying. So I tell them they don't want no smoke before they end up in the newspaper next day. Smoke. This the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. The toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. And this is it right here. The toughest you gon' ever be in. You wasn't conscious before us. Y'all niggas was asleep. We woke the sleeping giant. We did it. sa.neter TV. So stay your ass in your little box where you feel safe. Cause there's motherfucking monsters over here. Real monsters.
Peace and Pan-Africanisms to Brother Herman Smalls in the toughest environment you can be in.
Time to set the stage with the lights off. Let the little nigga breathe till the fight's lost. You ain't never like the room with the bright sauce.
Yeah. Y'all already know what it is, man. We got Sanchez in the building. We got the captain, the mighty captain of ISUPK in the building. And man, this is going to be a great discussion between these two brothers. I'm waiting on my man Sanchez to cam it up so we can get it in. All right. And Captain, you already know what I be saying on the phone, Captain. Come on. Cap, what I be saying on the phone? Huh?
I don't remember what you be saying on the phone.
Stream.
Oh.
Come on, Cap, man. You know how we do.
Oh.
Yeah, man. So I'm hoping you up for this right here. This is one of Sanchez's powerful topics, brother. This is a powerful topic. The topic is dealing with Captain Tazarach and Brother Sanchez. Is rap music the cause of violence? Important conversation. Also, we're going to be touching on, do you see the man over the woman? However you want to word it, is the man above the women or over the women? So that's what we're going to deal with. Which topic y'all brothers want to discuss first?
I'll leave it to Sanchez.
Brother Sanchez?
He kind of started. I think he's the precursor for both subjects.
I mean, I think that the main one would be the hip hop title. So
yeah, so let's save that for the last. Let's save that for last.
However you want to do it.
Okay, so now do y'all brothers want time? Do y'all need time, or do y'all want to just have this conversation? Or do y'all need time so we can be even Steven?
It's not a debate, it's a discussion. So if it gets a little too funky, like if Sanchez get a little ruffled or something, get out of his body, you got to come in and moderate, then we could do time.
Out of his body.
Yeah, but other than that, I think we good.
I'll pass you the mic, Sanchez, being that you're the one that came up and said is woman over the man. So I'll leave the conversation up to you to start it off. You got Captain Tazarach, brother.
I just want to say that
and y'all allowed to share your screen. Y'all can do whatever y'all want.
No problem. The whole concept of the woman above the man, different dudes got different ways of interpreting, why they say that and all that. So I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt of go ahead and briefly expressing yours before I just generalize and throw you like into the.
Oh, don't do that. Come on, man. You came up with it, man. Get into what you're getting into, man. About what I'm gonna say. Yeah.
It ain't that I'm trying to worry about what you're gonna say. I'm just trying to get you the benefit of the doubt to make your own argument. So when you say that the man is above the woman, are you meaning in the household? Are you meaning protection wise? Are you meaning in leadership wise?
Yeah, I'm saying protection, leadership in the household. The one place that a woman could have dominance, if you want to use that word, let's say if there's a field of her expertise. Of course, I'm not saying that she can't be strong in her profession over a man. I'm not saying that. But if you talk about who's in charge of that house, that's the man. If you talk about who protects that house, that's the man. If you want to talk who's more built and structured to defend, I mean, everything is a man.
Okay, now in a sense of man being above a woman strictly for protection, would you also agree that it is also a woman's job also to be able to have self-defense tactics? For example, one may make the argument that what about the enemy who may have his woman going to the gun range and be training his women in self-defense and all that?
Who teaching them?
So, right, the man is, or in some cases, if you're in the military, check this out. A woman may be your drill,
and she was trained by a man too. Even her self-defense comes from a man.
So I'm just saying that you may be trained by a woman though, but at the same time, I'm not just gonna argue against you just for the sake of arguing. Like you said, it's a discussion. I want to hear you out as well. So my main smoke is with the hip hop, not more so of the man above the woman.
Because if I'm not mistaken, you still share your woman, right?
Huh? What?
No. No, I don't know where you get that.
Can I play a clip? Can I share my screen?
I don't share my my current.
Can I just play a clip?
Let me just let you know my relationship situation, Ryan. The woman that I'm with right now, I've been with her for over a decade, and that's all mine. So as far as sharing her, what way you mean on some like letting another man have her in any kind of romantic way? Is that what you said?
I just want to play. No, not when I'm saying you're.
Yeah, let's hear the clip.
Yeah, let me hear it. Can I play this clip? Sorry, can I share my screen?
I got it here. Yeah. I got it here.
This is a conversation we had like a year ago. It blew my mind when you said it.
Okay, let's hear.
Sorry, you got it?
Yep, I see it up. It's up, and
I'm gonna play it now. All right.
You put your rod in her. If
what make you think that when you kiss one of your wives, you ain't?
Why can't finish? Why can't finish? When you go inside that, when you go inside that woman and she was just with another nigga, you rubbing with sperm.
We know that, man. We know that.
You put your rod in her.
What make you think that when you kiss one of your wives, you ain't?
Why can't finish? Why can't finish? When you go inside that, when you go inside that woman and she was just with another nigga, you rubbing with sperm.
We know that, man. We know that.
You put your rod in her.
I'm gonna stop it right there. So you still go by that, right?
Yeah. When two men go and see the context of that. Let me answer you. I remember that discussion now, and we was talking about polygyny and about when two men is sharing the same woman, because I think the context was I was questioning you about your wives. We was debating about polygyny.
Now they saying they didn't hear the audio.
I heard it. I
heard it too. Let me see it. Okay. Yes. Yeah, so basically the audio, y'all, if you didn't hear it, was me agreeing with Tazarach that when two men go inside of one woman, they both swapping sperm, you know, and I agree with him on that. Now, the context of that debate, and I still got smoke for him on that, is, you know, polygyny. And that was one debate we had on polygyny. I think we need to revisit that topic.
Yeah, but I think you didn't have a problem sharing your man in the conversation, a woman, like sharing your woman in that conversation.
That's I'm still trying to see what the hell you talking about with that. I'm lost. I'm lost as hell. Are you?
You said that.
Can you replay it?
You said that a woman in the clip. Yeah. You said earlier that's a sound bite right there. But in the clip, in the back and forth that we had, you said that you didn't have a problem if a woman had more than one man.
That's what she want to do. That ain't got nothing to do. That don't mean I'm gonna be with her. If those 10 men want to be with that woman, right? That's them. And if she agree to it. You see what I'm saying?
And you saying she got a right to do it?
I'm telling you, I don't have the right to go in there and say, stop, you ain't gonna be with them 10 men and y'all ain't gonna be with him. I'm gonna look at it.
Right there.
I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at it and say, hey, if that's what, just like I don't agree with you and your polygyny situation, but I'm gonna respect that. You ain't gonna hear me keep talking about it and all that. I'm just gonna live and let live. That's my motto, if you want me to be honest.
No sweat, brother. So on the subject of who's the head, there's no scenario, even when you talk, well, let's say if a woman is getting abused, God forbid there's a woman that's not getting abused. She doesn't go to a woman for protection, she goes to a man, even if it's the police department. When you got to get saved, you don't look for women. Nobody looks for women to get saved. Only black men have arguments or conversations about who's over, who's more dominant, the woman or the man. Nobody else has that argument. What you tell me the white race that has the argument, or the Chinese race that has the argument, or the Arabic race that has the argument, who's the head, the man or the woman? Only we have that argument.
Well, I think it boils down to semantics, which is why I don't really have it a lot. But I think the semantics part of it will just boil down.
But no, these are facts. This ain't semantics.
No, I'm talking about on the behalf of the persons that's arguing it. For example, right, a brother may say, well, hey, I've seen women manhandle some of these dudes, and you know that, and make the argument that there's some weak guys and stronger women. You know, if you just try to solely make the argument off physical protection. So that'll be like a little loophole in that one. But I know you dealing with just the general outcome. I was in the military, so yes, I ain't gonna debate that, which is why I wanted to pick your mind on the hierarchy.
Yeah, I was in the military too.
But what I will say is that I do think that the women lead the feminine energy and the men lead the masculine energy.
Yeah, but masculine energy is superior though.
In most cases,
yeah, that's why when you look at the black community and all of this, I'm an independent woman and women got to be equal with the man. That's why the black race don't get respected, because we haven't even figured out who's the dominant. Even if I was to use Trump as the example, as male chauvinistic as white women said Donald Trump was, when they came down to vote for their president, they voted for Trump, and they voted for Trump because Trump is protection, and they took protection over their small, minute femininity. But they teach black women that your femininity means you have to be over your man. And that's never the case. There's not a scenario on the planet where a woman is dominant over a man. Even in cases where you might have, like you said, a woman could beat a man. We're not saying that. That's more than likely an effeminate man that she getting beat by. But I guarantee you she was trained and raised by a man. There's nothing. That's why we don't get no respect now.
So when it comes to the whole hierarchy in the family, that's more of the discussion part, but I am gonna give you some more. I'm gonna turn up a little bit when we segue into the hip hop joint.
Well, you came up with this subject, so I'm wondering why, like, what you waiting on?
Right.
I mean,
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I ain't gonna skip around unless you want to, though. But we can. I mean,
no. I ain't saying no. That's not what I'm saying. You keep saying you're gonna turn it when we get to hip hop, but you got this subject as well. So I'm trying to see where you going to lay out. You haven't laid out nothing that said a woman is either equal or dominant to a man.
I don't feel the need to now because we haven't found a scenario where I disagree with you as far as the male and female.
So then you agree that the man is dominant.
In most cases, yeah, I totally.
I would love to hear your perspective on it, though, Sanchez.
But that's why I gave you a little bit pushback, well. And I said that, for example, right? The women, as far as the yin and the yang, right? You got the 50 and the 50. Now, some people may say, no, it's 75-25 or 80-20. I'm still saying it's 50-50. I'm just saying when it comes to warfare, when it comes to hunting, for example, when it comes to things of manly or masculine affairs, of course, I as a man, I feel like we should lead those avenues. However, I do see some things in nature where I think where it's fit to let the women lead. For example, like the seeds, the plants, the studying of when it comes to the seeds of the field, the handling of the plants and dealing with the medicines and dealing with your, so for example, right, you got people like Imhotep in Egypt, which is a male figure that is like over medicine. He's the male figure over medicine. I'm gonna be brief with this example. Prior to male pharaohs like Imhotep, all of the medicinals, all of the healing was done by strictly women. So the whole medical industry, as we know it today, would have been matriarchal or female dominated. Now, I agree with you on a lot of stuff. I want to know, can me and you agree on this one? That,
as far as the
example, when we talk about like how the power that female has and her responsibility in society, what make her so important.
No, like, she definitely is important. I think she has great power. I just don't think her power is to be. I think her power is in her submissiveness to the man, and that frees her. Like if she doesn't have to worry about protecting, building, she can then go into the things that you just mentioned, as far as like getting into the medicine, the seed work. Like just so y'all know, Sanchez sending all you black women into the field to work the field. But she can do that because now she has the time to focus on things. Just like if you was the reverse, and if the father didn't have the woman around, you know what he has to do now? He has to care for those things for the children and give them a side that he's not built for. So there is a balance that takes place between a man and a woman, but a woman's mind has to be free from conflict. She don't deal with conflict well. She don't deal with aggression well. She can be trained, but that's not her natural instinct. Her natural instinct is the nurturing and stuff like that. That's her natural instinct. So I would agree with you with that, with the whole, and except the Kemet part. We don't need to be nowhere in Egypt. There ain't no telling what type of seed is in that fertile ground. But as far as the concept of medicine, agriculture, growing, doing things like that, she can do that. And she could do more than that. I'm only responding to Sanchez's point but she can do more than that. Like, I really don't care what a woman does within her role. I think she should be greatest. She shouldn't be held back. She should be applauded. Like, even at our cookout that we had this past Sunday, sisters got their name and recognition for the works that they do as a wife and other works that they do. So I'm not against none of that.
Hey, Captain, is there ever a time that your woman steps up and be the head of the house and take leadership position?
Not one time.
I was going
Not one time.
No.
So when you leave the house, Captain, you saying your wife don't step up and take control of the children?
But that's different.
No, but that's what. Hold up. That's what Sanchez is saying. Is like sometimes the woman takes the charge and the men take charge. Like when you leave that house, Captain, who's next in charge to cover down and take control of this, the environment?
But see that's why I was going to say, like, if you would have worded it like that when you first asked me,
right,
I would agree. But it's all predicated on me. When let's say in the scenario you said, I'm in the house now, I leave the house. So now because I'm out of the house, she's in charge because I'm out of the house. But everything she's doing, them kids listening, them boys, them girls, they listening, they all know that I'm the head, and that's why. Now take me out of that house. I don't live with them. I'm gone. She still has to be in charge because I'm gone. But you know what them kids know? The authority is gone. And now life just got harder. Now them boys are testing her. Them daughters is testing her. They're doing things with her. And I know this from my own experience. When my father was out there, when my father was in the house, I was quiet as a church mouse in that house. And then when my father left that house, I could test my mother because she's gonna have to go. I was just gonna ask
you, did you test your mother?
Yeah, I did.
But like, you didn't test your father?
Yeah. Listen, it took like 1 or 2 times with testing my father.
Wow,
my father laid them hands, or my father would talk. Either way, the male authority, whether that male authority is there in the flesh or the children know that father is in the house, carries weight. I remember Chris Rock made a joke one time. He said, you could be the baddest mother in the world. It don't mean nothing to a father. You be saying to the mother be saying to the father, to the kid, take out the trash. And as soon as she would say, I'm going to tell your daddy, then it became, okay, mommy, I'm going to do it. That's her power from that man.
I ain't gonna lie now. We can't act like Big Mama just got ran over now. Them switches on your ass put you in check now.
No, I ain't saying she didn't beat or discipline. But the role
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, the role that you're playing. Yeah.
So let me ask you something. So if you meet a woman that's an accountant, you wouldn't let her handle the finances in the house?
Absolutely. Hell yeah, I would. Why wouldn't I? Listen, I used to call myself, I was trying to find a black coach. I had a black coach, but Greg Popovich from the Spurs, right? Coach of the Spurs, hell of a coach, right? So he knew how to put Duncan in his position, Manu Ginobili, David Robinson, Tony Parker. He knew how to put all of them in position. It wasn't about a star player. It was about everybody playing their position. So men are great managers. So if this woman comes in and she's a great accountant, why am I going to stunt her being a great accountant? I'm going to say, listen, man, I got this, and this that I need set up like this, and this. You take care and handle that. I'm putting her in position, and I want her to be great in that position.
Okay, so now what if a woman come in and she's a UFC fighter? You going to let her be the leader because that's that protective role as far as defending now. And you get,
well, she's gonna have to be a woman first because the UFC, you see them UFC fighter women, they're a little manly. So she gonna
what
have
up,
to be
Clarissa Shields?
Now look at. I'm glad you say Clarissa because Clarissa is an anomaly because Clarissa is feminine. As much of a fighter that she is, you have yet to see her and Papoose in any capacity. And you feel like she's trying to be dominant over him. We can learn a lot from that scenario because you're bringing up a woman that is a champion, world champion. They call it a the GWOT, greatest woman of all time. That's the acronym that she goes by. And that field, she's dominant. She can box, she can fight. But in the real world, with her and Papoose, she don't act like that.
But let me ask you something.
Wait, you gotta let
she's
that
with
sizzle in
Pap,
your
though.
spirit.
But I get that, and I'm glad we brought her up too. But I just thought about something when you saying that, and I agree with you. But I think there's a variable in that, and I think that Papoose is the variable. I really think that if Clarissa Shields had a regular dude, she probably wouldn't let him wear like much of the draws as she do with a Negro like.
But when you say, but Papoose ain't a loud brother. Like when you say regular dude, what you mean? A cat that's not famous?
I'm talking about. See, Cap himself is like a damn fighter. He like if I'm just saying, if Clarissa Shields, she respect the dude like Pap, because I'm just saying like Pap, man. He's on her status as far as success. He's on, you know what I'm saying, her status such as fighting and all that, man. So it ain't, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like a regular dude. I think we making it like Pap a regular dude. You don't think,
for all intents and purposes though, from a rapper position, which is what Papoose is known as a rapper.
Your average guy, like
he a regular. Yeah. No. Papoose is a regular dude though. When you think about it, Papoose didn't have the greatest, in terms of a great rap career. He didn't have that. He's respected in the underground circuits. He's respected for his pen. He's respected for his MC capabilities. And he's respected for the fact that he held down Remy Martin, right? But that's him. I think Papoose is just a man, and a man knows how to tame a woman. Now, with Clarissa, I just don't think it required much taming, because I don't think Clarissa is a boxer by profession, but she's a woman in real life. But that's why I said with a UFC type of fighter or a boxer type of fighter, you have to look at each woman individual, because every woman is not a Clarissa. Some women that fight, they want to be, super aggressive outside. What we see with Clarissa and Papoose is a great understanding of the conversation we're having. You have a man that is not afraid of letting his woman shine in her position, and she doesn't let her shine outweigh his position. She still submits, they still adhere, they still join together. For all, unless it's a facade that we seen on the internet, they have a perfect harmony. But she still would say that he's over her.
Hey, let me ask you, Captain, real quick, Sanchez. Captain, is there ever a time that when y'all all in the house, you, your lady, your family, the whole family is together, is there ever a time that you see her above you? When it comes to anything, it can come to anything. Come on, Captain. Please do answer the right question, brother. Please answer this right, man.
I'm trying to think, like, you mean like as far as what she could do, like her motherhood,
her ability to maybe know more math than you, maybe know how to do the children's homework when they come to you. Daddy, help me, Daddy. Nah, go to your mama. Mathematics. Stuff like that. I'm just giving you is there ever a time where you see her above you? Because I remember talking to you, Captain, and you said there's no woman smarter than you, or the man, or was you saying you?
Yeah,
you said there's no woman smarter than you. That's crazy.
Well, I'm gonna stand on two things. There ain't a woman smarter than me, and women ain't smarter than men. Now, that doesn't mean that in certain fields they're not smart. What you're asking me is a field type of question, not an overall question. So when I say smarter than me, I'm talking about overall. But parenting, her nurturing and mother skills, better. You know what I mean? Maybe patience with I don't know about patience with the children, because I'm excellent with kids. But her nurturing, her motherhood, business-wise, there's certain things with my business that I don't like. Like, I like promoting the business, selling, making the orders and stuff like that. When the paperwork, I might yield to the woman because she's better than me. So there are some things that she's better than me. So when I say I'm smarter, there's not a woman smarter than me. I'm talking overall. I'm not talking about compartmentalizing different
when things. You say overall, what do you mean by overall? Smart.
Like when you weigh me out
overall.
Yeah, when you weigh me out and weigh my women out, I'm the top. That's what I'm saying.
Now, does that go for all women, or are you just saying your women in particular?
So when you take men and women, men are smarter than women.
What? What?
That's crazy.
Did you see the movie with them sisters? I forgot the name of the movie when they had
they did something great. I think you talk about the four.
Yes.
Yeah,
them
the
black
astronaut.
Right.
The astronaut, right.
Right. Now, Captain, you know you cannot do nothing like that, brother. Come on.
I'm not saying I could, but now you're talking about so now you're giving a job. That's what I'm saying. Overall, and then when you isolate things, but if you weighed out, took 100 items and weighed them out, I'm probably gonna be at about 60. She might be 40. Out of them 100 things, I'm gonna kill 60 of them. She gonna kill 40.
You got sisters who are lawyers.
So,
that's right.
I mean, my thing is,
I don't study law.
I'm gonna be honest, man.
Y'all be in
what I'm hearing from you is that there are times in the house where the women gonna lead, and there are times when the men gonna lead. Yeah, and that's what I wanted to establish. That's why I ain't really got a lot of smoke, because I thought you was on some a woman ain't never gonna lead a man, which you know you got that kind of radicalism out there as well.
No, so that's abuse. What you talking about is abuse, where a man just wants to be over his woman because I'm a man. He be dumb as a box of rocks. He be dumb as take the same thing when sa.neter brought up with the accountant. Now he don't know nothing about numbers and math or algebra or nothing. But because he the man, here she coming, she got degrees in accounting. She coming with all that skill set. And then because you the man, you say, no, I'm the man. I'm gonna be in charge of all these finances, and then the shit go in the toilet. Because you the man. That's a stupid nigga. That's a dummy.
Right.
You know what I mean? A real man is not does not feel is not jealous of his woman. Like the Bible says, be not jealous over the wife of thy bosom, and teach her not an evil lesson against thyself. So that's a jealous man that doesn't want his woman to shine, doesn't want his woman to be great. I'm not talking about when I'm saying I'm smarter. I haven't stopped no woman of mine from being the best. I like go-getters. I like women that can actually go out and do something. So I don't stop women from being the only job that she can't have is my job as a leader and a priest. Outside of that, I don't know a job that she can't have. So no, I don't look at it like that.
Now, Cap, I'm gonna ask you a very specific question.
And Captain, you can ask Sanchez questions too now.
The question.
Well, so far, I mean, he ain't really coming up against nothing that I'm saying.
I think this one right here gonna be a little point of contention right here. I hear you. I think I heard you say this, or somebody in the red pill community say something to the nature of, if a man got a bunch of women, that ain't a bad look. But if a woman got a bunch of men,
say that one more. Back up a little bit. Say that one more time.
If a man,
no, you was good. It wasn't you. You was good. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If a man got a bunch of women, then that he don't look like a 304 or a whore, is actually look good for him. But if a woman got a bunch of men, she looked like a 304. Like there's a double standard on that. That's natural. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that the reason why that's a natural double standard is because it's true. A man, this goes back to there's no equality. A woman is not meant to be a conqueror in the bedroom. That's not her. It ain't her job to go out there and get banged out by 7 different men. But a man does conquer land, sea, air, and women. And so that brother that is able to maintain them. Now, just so the record for the audience, I'm talking about keeping the woman. I'm not talking about sleeping with the woman, running through her, and throwing her away. I'm talking about you got to keep that woman for the rest of your life. That's what I'm talking about. And a man has the right to do that. A woman does not. And even if you think about the makeup, the anatomy, ours is out, theirs go in. It ain't meant for a bunch of things to go up. If you take a door, you put a bunch of different keys, eventually that door gonna break. The keyhole gonna break.
So let me ask you a quick question. It's biblical. How many women did God give Adam and why?
God only gave Adam that one woman, and that's because he was working. So when you read the story, Adam was naming.
He was working.
Yeah, he was working. So before he gets the woman,
okay,
he was naming the animals, everything, doing all that work. And the Most High said he should have a helpmeet. So he gave him a woman. But that doesn't mean that, and when you go before that, when mankind was created, there was never a decree that you could not have more than one woman.
Okay, so what I will say is that when we say that a man can have multiple women, in your case, you saying he got to marry them all, and then that's okay. But if he don't marry all them women, but they still kind of taking care of each other as if they were in a marriage, but it just ain't official. Like, what makes it marriage or not? What are your what constitutes a marriage? Like, what makes that?
What constitutes a marriage is, so a marriage biblically is like you meet a sister, you begin to court. As you're in the courting phase, you may go take her out on a date, send her some flowers, take her to the movies, you impress her. Yeah. As you're talking to her, y'all should be talking about your past, your present, your future, what y'all plan to do with each other, what your goals, what your ambitions, you should be focused on that. Then you'll agree to consummate or become husband and wife. There's one of two ways. You're going to have a grand ceremony, not like a Chinese talk about like a church or nothing like that, but you can have a ceremony where you present yourselves before your family, or you can consummate by maybe going on a vacation, laying with each other, becoming intimate. And then, but once you become intimate, now you're a husband and wife.
Okay.
That's it.
Would a Hebrew keep all of their wives in one house, or would they do like Solomon? And would a Hebrew do like Solomon, keep all of their wives in one house, or would they have wives sort of,
Well, that's optional. Like so in my counseling, right? You got to weigh that out, because especially in this society, we live in a society where that's frowned upon. It's frowned upon in the sense of, if you tell somebody, like I remember Neo, for example, Neo got crucified because he openly said he got 2 wives. I think he got 3 women right now. And he's open and upfront and honest about them, and he's crucified about it, because in the world, it's like, you're not supposed to do that. So you got to think about how is this woman going to deal with being in the house with me and another woman, because there's a huge dynamic in that. If you're intimate with one woman, does the other woman hear it? If you're affectionate with another woman, does the other woman see it?
I understand where you're going, Cap, and that make me want to ask you another question. Do you think that may be natural science that go against the idea that it's natural for men to practice polygyny but not women, because both sexes will get jealous? Like, if you got a bunch of dudes with one woman, them dudes gonna get jealous too. So you think that that jealousy within both genders kind of is proof that we supposed to be with one?
No,
okay.
No, because why would you put it in your woman's face? Like, there's like the unnatural thing is to throw them all in the same house. I ain't seen that nowhere. That's the unnatural thing. It's more natural for her to have her own and the other one to have her own. That's the natural thing. So that your time is now, her time is now her time, as opposed to sharing time. That, like, a lot of people think like Big Love, because we don't watch The White Man, how he did it and had a show called Big Love. And so now we think
I never saw it. Yeah.
That's that. When I think of these questions that you ask, it all comes from the white man's concept, but you got to have all these women in one house. Well, when they're not married, they're not married. I'm gonna end right here. Yeah, they're not married to the women aren't married to each other. There's no threesomes involved and stuff like that. They're married to you. So the relationship is, what relationship does she have with the husband, not what is the relationship she has with Valerie and Sandra. Valerie and Sandra don't have to have no relationship at all. As long as they're married to you, that's the relationship. That's natural. Unnatural is when you force it upon the women to do so. Now, in my school,
I hear your perspective.
right? And so in my school, I know couples that are able to be together, even though now they're still in separate households, but they come out together. They be at events together. My cookout brothers had like sa.neter, the brother that you like that does the camp, the Haitian brother that you like speaking at camp. Both his wives is running his table for him, both of them. So you can have a scenario where they both working together, but they live separate though, but they both working together. And then you can have a scenario where they're not like that. That's the man that dictates that. That's not the woman. But a lot of times,
that's why I'm asking. I want to see how y'all do it. I want to ask you something based on that. What about people who say, well, that's splitting the children up because the children would all prefer to be in one house? For example, if you say it's unnatural, one could say, well, what Solomon was doing in the Bible is unnatural. You see what I'm saying? If you make like that claim. So Solomon had all his wives in one.
But I don't think he had a lot of kids, though. I don't read a lot of children that Solomon had, because I know you was
asking. But he had all his wives in one house, so they would have been hearing him.
I don't know if they
make love to the other one.
Yeah, I know he had a lot, but I ain't never read where he have all of them in the same house. I've never read where he
had a palace or something, right?
Yeah, he had a palace. I mean, he was a king.
And he had like chicks all around that mug. What I heard, like Hugh Hefner type joint.
But I don't know if it was like that. You would have to read that. I would have to read that.
Solomon wasn't hopping on no chariot saying, "Let me go to my other chick house over here."
So like Solomon has 700 wives, 300 concubines. Some of them wives that he had was by other nations. So some of the wives he might not even slept with. They might have been just a wife in name only. So you would have to show me the verse that you're talking about on that subject. But it's just not natural. It's not a natural thing where you gotta move your wives in houses together. It's better for them to have their own experience with you. Why have a shared experience?
Yeah, I wasn't even questioning the idea of you having them in different houses, because I would kind of see that more convenient too. But I was questioning the idea of it all together. Is it proof? Because you having them in the same house will breed certain contention and jealousy that's just gonna, in my opinion, naturally come about by them being in proximity and stuff like that. So by you having them in different houses, you get to space your time out so that nobody be acting, it is balanced basically. So, but my whole thing is, one could ask, like I asked earlier, is that all proof though that it's against the natural will? Now, I wouldn't say it's wrong. I think that if it's beautiful, everybody agreeing and it's working, man, hey, kudos. But I'm saying that it is complicated because it's kind of going outside of the what we call, I can't say will, I would say normal, traditional household.
Well, I would say
so. It's going to be more complicated. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't even say that, because monogamy don't have a stranglehold on successful relationships. It's not like they don't have a monogamy relationships suck. Polygamous relationships suck. Polygyny relationships suck. All relationships suck. There ain't no written way to make this one way the perfect way. This way.
Said polygyny suck too, brother.
All three of them. I said monogamy, because some people, I usually say polygamy, but some people get harped on the terms. So I think my lifestyle is called polygyny, not polygamy, right? So all of them suck. What makes it work is you as an individual. And what I mean by that is, you're not going to hear me be so pro polygyny that I'm against monogamy. If a brother gets one woman and he's happy and content with that one woman, I'm not going to come around and say, hey, man, you need to get you a couple more, man. You selling yourself short. You only got one woman? Man, I got 12. This brother got 7, this brother got 8, this brother got 20. Like, I wouldn't do that, because it's about what works for you. It's not about putting the pressure on there, like promoting like you got to do it. Usually, even when I have these conversations, it's usually not you. In this case, we're having an open conversation, but usually it's somebody telling me I'm wrong for doing it. But monogamous relationships fail, just like polygamous relationships fail. They fail all the time. You ain't got to believe me. Just everybody asks their partner how many relationships they was in before they was with them. That's going to answer for you. That's going to be your answer. If monogamous relationships work, you would get with that one woman and you'd still be with her. You get with that one man and you'd still be with him.
Is there like a maximum? And this just something I always wanted to know. Do it reach a point where you say, well, golly, brother, that's too many wives, you know? Because I would say, look, Solomon had too many wives.
Believe it or not, I tell brothers, if they got one wife, I tell brothers, you don't need no more. You good with that one. I've told brothers that. And I do that based on the individual. Like Deuteronomy 17 says, don't multiply wives to yourselves, neither gold that it turn your heart away from the Most High. So yes, you could tell a brother, don't get no wife at all. You could tell a brother, nah, you like, I know this one brother, my general said, this one brother tried to get with another woman. And the general told him, you're a one-woman man. And he didn't want to listen. So the general gave him a shot. Gave him a shot to go and see if he could be a more than one woman man. Let him court this sister. It failed. And he said, you know what? I am a one woman man. So we don't advocate for men to just go out there and just get a bunch of women, because it's a lifelong thing. And I think our women have been damaged enough by men. Like our women have been damaged enough by men, relationship wise, where we don't want to just send men out there, get these women, make the wrong mistakes, throw them away, X, Y, Z like that. So we don't promote that either.
Is it possible to equally give your heart to each one of your wives?
Is it possible to give them equally?
The same amount of?
Yes. They all get the same. It's just different. So every woman doesn't require the same thing. Let's say you got a woman, she has a real good paying job, head on her shoulder, doesn't need as much. When you get with her, the financial burden on you is not as much because she's financially stable. Let's say if her mental is together, she haven't really had no trauma or nothing like that, the psychological assistance that she might need from you is not going to be as much. Let's say if you get with a woman that might be unemployed when you get with her, that could have a job, or could be going to school, might be going to college or something like that, but something that the financial burden will be more on you. So you're giving to them both your heart, as you say, equally, but what they need from you is different. So if the one woman needs a car, this other woman has a car, you ain't just buying a car just to buy a car. She don't need a car. But the one that needs the car, you get the car. So you
good answer, Captain. Roy Bay asked the question, what's the moral purpose of having more than one wife? Captain.
You want me to go with? Okay.
Oh, I thought Sanchez, was you going to go first?
You know Sanchez.
I'll go. Yeah, I think that kind of was what I was asking him with that question, because I think with one wife, you get to just put all of your energy, focus, time, and all of that into that one person, because a relationship is indeed a ship, and a ship requires a lot of maintenance. It's a lot of parts to a ship, a deck, the motor. You got all of these different parts. So, and each ship has different crews, for example. That will be your households. So that goes back to when you were saying, well, we told a brother, try to see if you can be with multiple wives. He couldn't do it. And I think it's a sign that it's really a commitment to dedicate yourself to one woman. I can really challenge you to do it to like 10, you know, or 15. That'll be damn near impossible if you ask some people, you know what I'm saying? But that's my take.
I wanted to look up the word moral before I respond. So I did. And so when I look it up, it says moral, concerned with the principles of right and wrong behavior and the goodness or badness of human character.
That's it.
So his question was, what is the moral benefit? Was benefit in there?
Of being with one.
Of being with more than one.
Purpose, yes. The moral
purpose. The moral purpose.
Of being with just one.
I think he said being with more than one.
Being with more than one.
Oh,
okay. So from a moral position, my morality is clean. I have a choice. For me, it's a choice. It's not about like when Paul in the Bible says all things are lawful, all things are expedient. If I didn't want to have more than one woman, I just wouldn't. My conscience is clean. My conscience would only be dirty is if I went to go get this another woman, but my morality says I'm not supposed to have another woman. If my morality says if that one woman has a man, let's say if I don't have no man right now, no woman right now, and then I decide to get with a woman, if that woman has a man, my morality has to stop me from getting with that woman, even though it would just be me and her, because I would be stealing her from another man. So that's how my morality judges me. So when I get another woman, let's say if I got one woman and me and that one woman is straight, and then I see another woman and I have an interest in her, my morality is just as clean because she's single. So it's just my desire to have another woman. It's not about good or bad because it's not bad. In the Bible, it's not bad. There's laws if you have more than one woman. There's laws if you get another woman, your first woman, you can't diminish what you did for her. So that's from a moral perspective. I'll answer it like this. From a moral perspective, if I take on another woman, I have to make sure that it's not going to hinder what I'm doing with my existing women. That's the morality that will govern me.
I also answered the question from the perspective of a guy who's in a monogamous relationship, because I can't really tell you anything about being in like a Solomon situation or anything like that. So to the brother who asked the question, that was a good question. And I just kind of heard it from my perspective for the situation I was in. But salutes to that, man. Good one, though. I would think that now here's what I would ask you based on that question, too, based on what you said. Wouldn't you think that it would probably a person can say the more moral compass will be with one than many? That would be more of a moral thing to do, or would that just be more of a traditional thing in your eyes?
It would be American. It would be white man tradition. That's not African tradition. That's not Arabic tradition. It's not Israelite tradition. It's not a tradition of one man, one woman. That's Greek and Roman culture.
Okay.
Like before you get to the Greeks and Romans, there was no mandate of a man could only have one woman. It's only this culture that we're in today that mandates that. For example, I have more than one woman, but I could not legally in this country be married to more than one with paperwork. You understand what I'm saying? Like if I went to the court and got a legal document of marriage to one woman, I'm then restricted from getting a legal piece of paper in America, but I'm not restricted from having a girlfriend, is how they would look at it. Even if I call them wives, this country would look at it as a girlfriend. They wouldn't look, unless you're in a state that recognizes what's that, common law marriage, like if you're together for a certain amount of time. But outside of that, so that the tradition, that's white. When y'all say, I want y'all to understand, when y'all say tradition is one man, one woman, that's the white man's tradition that y'all talking about. That is not biblical. It's not you Africans. It's not African. It's not Arabic. That's the white man's tradition that y'all are encouraging.
Well, I brought it up because it was biblical, Adam and Eve. You know what I'm saying?
Read that question, Captain.
Cap, can women have the same moral cleanliness, clean morals that allow her to pick? No. That's a homo that asked that question.
Who got to be?
Damn, Cap. Hey, man, you cold. God damn, Cap. Oh, man.
Yeah, come
Y'all
on.
better
Cap.
be careful what y'all call in.
Shout out to the super chat, though.
Yeah.
Shout out to the super chat, though. You did a good job with that super chat, brother.
Appreciate the super chat. Damn. That's crazy. I tell you what, man. I'm gonna segue to this hip hop thing.
Yeah,
based on
I
this,
was just about to say
But hold
that,
up before you do that. Before you do that, Sanchez, Roy Bay says sa.neter often say that women chooses a man. Is that true, Captain?
Okay, that's another good question.
Listen, man, if I don't want to, I'm not going to talk about myself to answer this question, but I wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't disagree with that. Like a woman, when a woman sees a man, and I'm going to tell you why it's a good and bad thing. Because most women, when they pick a man, they don't necessarily pick the good man. There's usually something physically that they see, or some dominance or some power that they see. They should let their father or brother or uncle determine if this is actually a good man. But women do set their eyes, and when they set their eyes on a man, unless that man do something terrible, he gonna get the draws.
Yo, Captain, you know how my wife Cynthia got me, right? Because her grandmother, one day I was doing something and her grandmother said, in him, I see something in him. That's the one you need to bag right there. and Cynthia clung on to me right there. So that's how Cynthia got me on that.
That's how, and look, and how long y'all been together? Like 30-something, 40 years, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, women, yes, they can pick, but if your daddy didn't pick them, if your brother didn't pick them, again, just ask your woman how many relationships she been in and how many did she pick wrong.
I want to agree 100% with Captain said concerning the woman. I agree with my Captain 100% on what my brother said. Good answering the questions from Brother Sanchez. Now let's weave into this hip hop thing. We want to move into the hip hop thing now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, Brother Captain, I'll start with you because Sanchez started off.
Okay. Is
rap music the cause of violence in our community, all around the world, all around the globe?
No, I would say even if we just stick to our community or this country.
Yes.
America is the cause of violence. We have to put the onus on the origin. America, a country built on bloodshed, will never have peace in it. Violence is the way. Do what thou wilt, with I think one of a famous white man made up. So America stole, lied, raped, pillaged people. When other immigrants would come over here, they would pick up and do the same thing. When the Italians came over here, they brought their mob and their mafia. When the Irish came over here, they brought their mob and their mafia, became the police. They enslaved us over here. And if I can read, I want to read something. If I can share my screen, I want to read this. I want to highlight something for y'all to show you hip hop has nothing to do with this. Let me share my screen, Sa.
Mm-hmm.
Let me share. Come over here. Let me know if you can see this article right here. I'm gonna see if I could blow it up.
Yes. Oh yeah, you got to blow it up.
Blow it up some more. And I'm gonna scroll down to the part. This part right here.
Blow it up.
All right. Let me know when it gets.
Good.
So now this book, if y'all look up here, it says George M. Fredrickson. This book is called The Black Image in the Minds of Whites. This book was written from 1814 to 1917. It's almost 100-year study of Black people. And when you read this book, it's how they thought of us back then, which echoes up here. This is one thing they said about slaves. They said a worse evil to the slave than the cruelty he sometimes endures is the moral degradation that results from his condition. Falsehood, theft, licentiousness are the natural consequence of his situation, in referring to slavery. He goes to excess in eating and drinking and animal pleasures, but he has no access to any higher pleasure. And a man cannot be an animal without sinking below an animal. A brutal man is worse than a brute. An animal cannot be more savage or more greedy than the law of his nature allows, but there seems to be no limit to the degradation of a man. Slavery is the parent of vices. Now, why do I bring this up? Now I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and I have some other things that I want to share as well. I think I stopped sharing. You good to go? So why do I bring that up? Hip hop music started, let's say, the 70s. The most unalivings in Chicago, for example, was 974. That was in 1974. Hasn't been a large number of that in a single year since then. Long before hip hop even became popular, you had the dope epidemic, crack epidemic, gang violence, etc. None of that had anything to do with hip hop. All of it has to do with poverty and your living situation. So when you talk about hip hop, if you were to say something within hip hop, hold on one second. So if you were to say something within hip hop, where does the rap music promote violence? To a degree, yes, it does. But when I think about the shootings and the unalivings, the drug addiction, well, if you asked if drug addiction is influenced by hip hop, I would argue, I would say yes, because I would put the music with that, music in general. When you go to the Woodstock of the 70s, when the hippies started using the marijuana and all that stuff like that. So you even back then you had Superfly, like the blaxploitation movies, which popularized pimping. And so there's a lot of things, like when you can't isolate the child. Like hip hop is really the child. Hip hop represents the child. Why do I say child? Because a lot of our people today a lot of rappers today.
Let me know when you land.
No, you can cut in at any time. It's not, I don't need a time limit. Whenever you want to chime in.
Okay, yeah, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. I ain't gonna stop your flow yet, though. You got it.
Likewise. And so when we talk about hip hop being a cause of violence, I disagree. And I'll show an example, a clean cut example why after the brother goes.
Yeah, for example, when you bring up marijuana, right? Most people that's influenced to smoke weed is gonna, if you in our culture, you're gonna be influenced by Snoop Dogg, maybe Cypress Hill. You know, a lot of our people ain't gonna learn to smoke weed from no hippies. So that's why I'm saying, like, even if you sipping syrup or you got a dirty Sprite, or back in the day, you had a whole music culture, chopped and screwed, that was based upon sipping syrup. So we do see a lot of drug promotion through the hip hop culture. That's why a lot of artists is ODing and all that. So there's a very powerful interview by the rapper Crazy Bone. Now he's in the music industry. He will tell you out of his own mouth that that this music industry is indeed basically the devil in so many words. At some point I can play maybe some excerpts from that video where he go into the prison pipeline on how the labels work with the prisons and all that to keep these young boys going through the system and all that, promoting a certain lifestyle and culture. So it does promote a certain, like, it tells you who you supposed to be, and if you ain't this, you ain't hip, right? You ain't hop. This is what it is to be a man. This is what, you know, it promotes certain stereotypes that I know the Hebrews would probably go against. And we can at this point blame that on hip hop as it exists today as an industry that's dominated by small hats who are promoting that. Unfortunately, we might not want to see it as that, but even the rappers in the industry see it as that. And I have videos that we can play from them. But yeah, you can interject.
Yeah, so again, the title of this live is rap music the cause of violence, and it's not. I'm gonna use an example. I'm gonna share my screen again. I'll make sure I do this right. This is wait, hold up. Make sure I got the right link. Okay, this is what I want to share. I want to show y'all an example of what I mean when I say hip hop is not the cause. Right? I'm gonna share my screen again. I'm gonna read this article to y'all. This is gonna shut the whole thing down. So So I'm sharing my screen, Si. Can you make sure that that's shared on the screen?
Yep, it's there.
All right. So when we look at this article, right, it says the secret to Baltimore's extraordinary year. If anybody knows anything about Baltimore, let me see if I could make this a little bigger. If anybody knows anything about Baltimore, Baltimore was a drug-infested murder capital, one of the murder capitals a couple of years. And then they got this mayor that you see right here, right? Mayor Brandon Scott. Brandon Scott comes into Baltimore. Let's see if he said hip-hop music was the cause or was there something else? It says this April, Baltimore saw 5 homicides. This is the fewest in any month since 1970. We still got rap music. We still got rap music pumping out the whole 9 yards. When the city began tracking monthly homicide numbers, in the first 6 months of the year, homicides were down 22% compared to 2024. Non-fatal, 19. In 2024, homicides dropped 23% from 2023. What has made Baltimore, which President Trump and other conservatives deride as filthy, Democrat-controlled slum, so successful? Let's find out if he stopped hip-hop or if he did something else. Baltimore Mayor Brandon, who first, and remember the what I played for y'all earlier, and I got another slide I want to show y'all. So it says he first elected and he treated the city's homicide rate by treating violent crime as a public health crisis. That means treating violent crimes as a symptom of multiple factors, including racism, poverty, and past violence. Addressing violent crime as a public health issue involves going beyond arresting people after violence is committed and taking proactive and preventative measures. What Baltimore did that's so impactful is really invested in a whole ecosystem of community-oriented interventions. Si, you can stop my screen if you want. I'll talk now. So what does all that mean? The lack of opportunities that the cities specifically take away from Black communities is why there's so much violence, is why there's so much poverty. The mayor didn't stop music. He made sure that the mayor provided more opportunities to the people. And he cited the racism. Why did he cite that? Because he cited it as a public health crisis, community-oriented interventions. And a lot of times they always say the community has to do the job. It's not the community to do the job. It's the government that has to do the job to clean up the city. You got it, Sanchez.
It sounds like to me like I didn't have nothing to do today, so I went around and killed some of my own people. Because just hear me out, right? You brought up a violence in America, and you brought up the mobs and mafias enslaving our people. My thing is their violence is always against us, and our violence is always against us. Hip hop don't tell us to kill the KKK. Let me say this. Rap music never told Sanchez to go kill Zimmerman. It never told me to go kill the KKK. It told me to kill people that look like me, you know, and I didn't listen to it, thank God, but some people do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that just because there's an exception, there is an agenda to push a certain culture and lifestyle that's toxic to our brothers and stuff through the music. And you brought up the mob and mafia. I'm gonna give you an example, right? We didn't learn the mob and mafia culture by studying Italians. We learned it through hip hop artists mimicking Italians, calling themselves Capone, Noriega. Master P got an album called The Last Done. You got one of my favorite rappers, I ain't gonna lie, in Texas, Scarface, naming it. We started to imitate mafia and mob culture through hip hop. We didn't just go outside and imitate it just outside of hip hop on our own in the neighborhood watching mafia members. You know what? And the average guy that's imitating drill culture, that's talking about dissing the dead, or, you know, I'm smoking on an op pack or whatever, that's things that being influenced directly through the screen. So I'm not denying the effect that music has, and I don't think that a lot of artists in the industry is denying them. There are a lot of artists in the industry talking like me. I would ask you, would you even debate Cat Williams or Crazy Bone by them saying that the music industry is indeed toxic?
I would debate them on that, but I would agree with them. But you kind of killed your argument. First of all, I'm extremely disappointed that you said that Italians were trying to kill us. Like Italians didn't kill other Italians. They got
they did. They did. Hell yeah.
I know they did, but you just said that they was killing us and we was killing us.
I mean they didn't kill themselves.
The reason why you didn't bring that up is because you thought you had a point. The Valentine's Day massacre is when white men killed white men. The mob knocking out. Yeah, Sammy the Bull telling on after all the killings he was doing of white men, snitching. John Gotti, all of them unaliving each other. Even when you bring up Scarface, how did the hip hoppers get access to emulate Scarface? The movies did it. So when you try to make it seem like hip hop is so my whole thing, if you want to say hip hop music should change or hip hop music can play a part, we would agree. When you make hip hop the cause,
the catalyst,
when you make hip hop the cause or the catalyst, that's where you're wrong. Even the example, Scarface didn't make up the name himself. Even you just said Scarface created that name from the movie Scarface. Scarface came out in the 80s. You know who emulated Scarface? Drug dealers. Long before hip hop, long before Scarface had the opportunity to do so.
What I was saying, Cap. What I'm saying is this: all these kids that's drug dealing, even the drug dealers in my time, right? They came out during your Young Jeezy, Yo Gotti, trap shit. So what I'm telling you is, I can't tell you a couple of guys that was looking directly at the mob, imitating it. Once they start putting the mob culture in the music, when I saw Jay-Z in a top hat with the scarf and the big cigar, like Big and Small, like the Mafia men, I got it then. It was like, okay, this some mob stuff. You know, Junior Mafia, 808 Mafia. You know, we
making my point though.
But hold on, let me let about this land right here. Because you think I'm making your point, but you need to see the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making is this right here. Mob cultures, Italian dude in the mafia. He's not getting his lifestyle through Hollywood or music. What I'm telling you is we are, which is why when we say that white men is killing each other in the mob, just like black men are ratting themselves out on the music because they trying to make it part of their culture, part of the be hip, part of the be a gangster, right? It's even called gangster rap. So even though the mob and mafia come from the Italians, they didn't make it a music form. We turned it into and started making it into a music form to get our own people, and we didn't promote going after the white man. We promoted going after each other. Even though the Italian mob kill each other too, they didn't promote that in their music. So they probably going to do a drive-by with Tommy guns, listening to some more Italian stuff while we listening to some drill rapper that's promoting you to kill your own directly, is what I'm saying.
Right. And I want to address the super chat before I respond. This is not a debate at all. Just so everybody can understand, we're just having a conversation about
it.
It's a discussion. It's a discussion. It's not a debate. I just wanted to say that. Shout out to D-Dub that donated to the super chat. I just want to make sure y'all understand it, because there's some points that you make that I don't disagree. But
appreciate that.
Once they're influenced by the drug, once they're influenced by the Italians, once they're influenced by the movies, once they influenced to sell drugs, because like Scarface sparked damn near all the drug dealers. Everybody wanted to be like Tony Montana. Everybody wanted to sell the drugs. Before you get to your Young Jeezys, you got to first go to your Nicky Barnes, your Frank Lucas, your Alpo, your AZ, the brothers in Baltimore, all the big time drug dealers that were not influenced by hip hop, but was influenced by the drug game. And then why would they choose the drug game? That's why I read that Early Access. That racism that we've been influenced, where they wouldn't let you get a job, but they would give you this drug to sell. So now you take the black community, instead of us bonding together, when the drugs came, it divided us. Drugs, poverty, and gangs more destroyed us than hip hop ever could. Because even in the 80s and 90s, in the crack era, you had positive rap music. It didn't stop the shootings. It didn't stop the violence. It didn't stop any of that. And when you go into why they get shot and why they get unalive, it has nothing to do with the music. The music becomes something that they rap about afterwards. But the shootings are not because of a rap song. Occasionally, you might have rappers
you telling me that they ain't riding to the scene, bumping the music with the drugs on, getting ready
but
to
the
do
music
it.
But the music ain't the cause. That's where I'm trying to get you to see.
So why? Let me ask you this. So why can't they go and do the drive by listening to Luther?
What was
Vandross?
they listening to before?
Hold on. Let's say we put Luther Vandross on.
Right.
Okay. I got you. Now listen. Before hip hop, there was no music form that black people had that
No, that's not the question.
Genocide.
That was not the question. What music was they listening to when they was unaliving each other, when hip hop wasn't the dominant art form? Like in the 80s, before the West Coast got access to
the history that I heard was disco was what they was into right before.
No. My point is the music ain't making them unalive. It's the poverty, it's the gang that's making them unalive. When you take a kid,
but the music promote all that.
What I'm saying is whether the music promote it or not, or the music don't promote it. Like when Public Enemy, X-Clan, when
that's one exception though. That ain't what we're talking about today. Right now, hip hop as it stands, what is it pushing? More positive or negative to our youth?
No, here's my point. When Public Enemy, X-Clan, Self-Destruction, West Coast deal, we all in the same gang, that didn't stop no crime. It didn't make nobody stop unaliving. It didn't make nobody stop selling drugs. It didn't make nobody not doing nothing.
You don't think what the conscious rappers did?
No.
I think I'm gonna tell you how I know it did, right? I know a lot of guys who were like RBG on some black power. They was wearing African medallion. They was like Sharif on Menace to Society, telling brothers, man, stop the violence and all that. I would say if it wasn't for another option of something they can fill up their mind with, some music they can have that's a alternative route, they could have very well been influenced by. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you. I got you. I'm gonna tell you something. I would argue, right, because like you just said, because the positive rappers will have to be worthless for what you saying to be right, and I disagree. I think that these positive rappers do make an impact. It's just not as big as the ignorant rappers pushing the BS, because our people don't control the music. Our enemy do, which is why it's toxic at this point, which is why I work more against us than for us, and it exploits us as well while doing so. And over-sexualizing the women, which we finna get to in a minute too. But
well, long before the Jewish man came in over-sexualizing women, I would suggest y'all take a look at blaxploitation, because that over-sexualized the hell out of our women. But what I want to say,
like Jackie Brown movies.
You want to say something, Si?
Yeah. I want to say, in this topic right here, on this topic, I definitely agree with Brother Sanchez 100% on this, because once the Jews took over this conversation, once the Jews took over hip hop, we know that was not going to be a good thing for us. Yes, violence was here before hip hop, but who was doing the violence? They were gangsters. They were grown men. Now, because of hip hop, these are children, Captain. These are kids, unaliving kids. These are kids running down on each other. What do they say? They say, yeah, I smoked that nigga yesterday. Yeah, I smoked this pack. I smoked that pack. All of that come out of hip hop. The drugs, the wine, the drinking, all of that right now is now getting on the youth and the children. That's what we're saying. That's what I'm saying. Hip hop have become. Hold up, I'm gonna land. Hip hop definitely have become evil. It has become demonic. It has degraded our women. There's no other music in the world that degrades black women, mothers and grandmothers the way hip hop have done, Captain. And you can't get away from that, man. And so, yes, I blame hip hop for not being the cause of all the violence, but being the cause of a lot of the violence that played that role in our community.
That's such a disgusting thing to say, because when that kid is starving and has nothing to eat, are you telling me hip hop is why he goes out to steal to go eat? When that kid don't have
that
no
ain't what we
sisters,
saying.
That
ain't what we
remember,
saying.
that is what you say. When you say hip hop is the cause, I want to play something else for y'all.
Stealing ain't violence.
Remember what I said?
Theft ain't violence.
Hold up, Sam. Remember what I said, Captain? I said young people because
that's what I'm talking about. That young kid
before hip hop, but it was the gangsters doing it. Now because of hip hop, they are goddamn 13. 12
you know why they 13 and 12
killing each other, brother?
Because you know why no, it's because of the fucking gangsters that destroyed the parents and took away the fathers, took away the mothers. So now the kids don't have a fucking father because the drug dealers is out there destroyed the home. That's why. So now they 13 years old and got to take care of themselves. They wasn't born into this world by themselves. They was born into this world with a mother and father. And then the gangsters came and popularized crack and dope and heroin and all of that. And then they got higher up for that. And as that kid comes out and he's starving, as that kid comes out and he ain't got no clothes, he ain't got no food, you think him listening to a rap song is making him hungry? Him listening to a rap song is making him say, how am I going to put sneakers on my... That is my point. Y'all don't understand. It's a perfect point because oppression makes a wise man mad. That's what the Bible says. And if you take away food, if you take away shelter, if you take away a father, you take away a mother, you're not going to tell me the music that's being played is going to make them do it. It's their condition. Why do you think I read the Baltimore? You know what the Baltimore mayor did? I'm not finished, man. I let you and sa.neter cook. The Baltimore mayor didn't blame music. He called it a health crisis. And when he gave them a better opportunity, he didn't cut the damn radio off. He didn't blame the rappers. He didn't say it's how you say "tew" and all the lingo and shit that they got down there in Baltimore. He addressed and had the one thing we don't have. That's compassion. We ain't putting this on no damn music. You know how many kids suffer from... Hey, Sa, I want to share something. I'm going to show you what kids suffer from. I want to share something on my screen. Hold up. No, not this one. I'm going to share. This is a video. I want to share this on the screen. I want y'all to listen to this. This is a study they did on PTSD, right? I'm going to play this for y'all. This is an important article y'all need to read. Let me know when you see it, Sa. I'm going to blow it up like this. Let me know when you see it. Do you see it? All right, I'm going to play it. I want y'all to listen carefully. I want y'all to listen to this carefully. This is every kid that grows up in the ghetto, and this is why they are the way that they are. I'm going to play it.
They hungry. That's why. Food. Get that boy a sandwich, he'll blow your head off.
Hey, Sanchez, can you shut your mouth while I'm playing this, man? Like, this is real information.
I got you. It ain't played yet. I got you. Go ahead. We waiting on the words.
No, I hit play, Sa. You didn't see it playing?
Yeah,
go ahead. Wasn't that happening yet? Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I thought, because it's playing on my side. Is it playing, Sa?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear that. We go ahead.
That half of all mental health problems begin in childhood before the age of 14. And one of the things we're looking at is how experiences of early adversity, such as domestic violence and maltreatment, can lead to changes in brain structure and function that can embed long-term vulnerability to mental health problems. It's something we're calling latent vulnerability. Those who had been exposed to maltreatment and domestic violence showed heightened patterns of activation in those brain regions related to threat vigilance and threat detection. And what was striking is that we see the same pattern in other studies done by other groups where they have looked at soldiers before and after combat. And that might help both the soldiers and the children function in those environments, but the difficulty is that it may also embed long-term vulnerability. We believe it is reversible. We know that many children who experience abuse and neglect and domestic violence have a resilient and positive outcome, and we expect that their brain will change and respond to positive emotional experiences such as social support and being in a secure and safe environment.
So now, the reason why I played this side, you can stop sharing it. That study showed that children that are brought up in broken homes without a father, in poverty, suffer the same PTSD as a soldier that goes and fights in a war and then has to go home. Now, imagine that mental having to go outside and live. That's more of the cause than the music.
Okay.
And that's why what did that doctor say? He said it's solvable, but when you take a social attitude or a social care, which is what the mayor of Baltimore did. The mayor of Baltimore took a social care and actually showed love to them. And when they actually received love, they stopped.
Okay, cool. So check this out, right? And you went a long time and you said we was interjecting. We still interjecting, but just allow me to have a little bit of time to unpack because you said a lot, right? So I agree with you. Kids in poverty conditions suffer PTSD. That's not because they directly hungry, starving for food. It's because it's so much violence in their community. Now, you saying that the violence is because they hungry. If you feed them, they won't really be killing each other. I disagree with that because I can show you environments where kids got less and they ain't got the same amount of crime rates like what we doing as black people. And I'm gonna make my point further, right? When the white man hungry, he kill the black man and take your food. When the black man hungry, he tend to kill another black man and take the black man's food. It's because the white man's music tell him to go conquer everybody else, but not to conquer himself. Even though there are some exceptions within his group, it don't stop him from being a man at the top right now because they all agree we need to go against them versus our music tell us to tear the next brother down most of the time. So my whole thing is proof of what I'm talking about is this right here, right? A brother hungry, right? So that's going to lead him to aggression and violence. Why does it only lead him to aggression and violence against his own people? Another brother that's more hungry than him. You know what? When I saw dudes selling drugs, it wasn't because their stomach was growling, it because they wanted to get iced out and ride in Benzes, is what I knew coming up. No one sold crack just to feed themselves, you know, because you got to have money to even get in the game. So, but my whole thing is this right here. We can't blame this on poverty because even though, yes, our people are in poverty situations, the way that we respond to the poverty situation is the music tell us to do that. The music told me, since you broke and in the ghetto, go out there and rob a dude. Go out there and no limit to what I can do. No limit soldier. That's what it means. It means by any means necessary. 50 said, get rich or die trying. That's what 50 Cent said. 50 Cent wasn't beefing with white people. 50 Cent was beefing with a lot of black people. He got shot by black people. You see what I'm saying? It's always us versus us. The white people that run this music industry, they got these drill rappers killing each other left, right. And when they do it, they just go and get another group to do it. They're disposable. And they make money off them when they locked up and dead too. Jada Kiss said it good. He said you dead rappers make better promotion. And that's how these labels look at our young brothers. So my thing is, it's a culture that they're promoting. And Crazy Bone talk about that. Now, you played a video, right? I want to play a video real quick. Because this is from somebody in the game, not a white scientist who not connected to our culture. That white scientist you played, he never lived in the hood. I'm finna play you from somebody who not only lived in the hood, but connected to our culture. That white dude can't tell Crazy Bone about the industry because Crazy Bone not only in the industry, but from the hood. Let's go. I'm gonna play this in fast speed. for everybody's convenience. So we ain't gotta be too long. Okay.
We can't hear it, brother.
You can't hear it?
No, we can't hear it, Sanchez.
Let me go to share again. Share screen.
Well, we ain't about to
also
hit 12
share
minutes,
audio. Also, to share audio, share a tab or screen instead. Okay. All right, I got you.
We're not gonna hear all 12 minutes, is we?
You ain't gonna need to hear all 12.
Oh,
no.
good.
I'm playing it.
What I witnessed in
It'll be more like 6 minutes. If anything, I'm gonna play it double.
1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music.
That's when sa.neter said when the Jews took over, it became toxic for our people. That's what Crazy Bone's saying. That's what we telling you.
And ultimately, American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for.
Damn.
Hold on, let me
So we gonna tell the story.
We gonna tell the story. We ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? What they gonna do?
They after us. Right?
Look, black man.
So he says between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like that, like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there. Right. Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip-hop.
Talk to him.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The meeting was page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now, let's get to the good part of the meeting. About to start.
Talk to him, Jake.
It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on a second.
Get your popcorn, y'all.
Popcorn, get your pistol. No,
Real up.
Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable in the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments.
So basically, I'm finna save us another 2 minutes and do y'all a favor right here. And I ain't gonna even play as long as a video as you did, Cap, because I don't think I got to. They can go back and watch.
You played 5 minutes,
up, right?
Mine.
You got to divide
5 minutes. Mine was only 2 minutes.
Let me go and summarize the video so we can move on. I played my video times 2, so divide 5 divided by 2.
Still longer than mine.
It's still about 2 minutes. That's about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So, but let me summarize the video. The video is basically these rappers attended a private meeting, and they were asked to basically promote violence, destruction, and all of that, because these labels was in the bed with the prisons, with the private prisons. Crazy Bone, a lot of reputable artists know about this, and they all talk about it. I even heard artists on Doggy Diamond's show going into how evil the industry is and how It just ain't no good for our people as it stands today. So a person may argue, well, it ain't always been like that, Sanchez, but it has for a time ever since the small hats took over. I agree with sa.neter and Crazy Bone on that, who says that it happened actually in 91 when they took over, but that year can be argued. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. If this conversation was about, did the small hats conjure up idea to promote more violence in hip hop, 100% in agreement. That's not what this conversation is about. This conversation is the rap music, the cause of violence. Even when you bring the small hats into play and y'all act like it was in 91, the blaxploitation was horrible to the black community. Superfly, all the drug dealing and pimping and quoting the Mac. What's that movie, The Mac? When it was about pimping women. So you can blame the Mac for why they start pimping women. You can blame Superfly for why they start selling drugs. So the influence is not just hip hop. You're blaming the child when the parent is taking no blame. That influence, when you look at the way that these kids, these young kids today, they are not doing what they're doing, and you're gonna blame it on rap music. They're doing it because of poverty. I noticed when you brought up, you said you give them something to eat, and that was a small token of what I said. I said they ain't got no father in the home. They ain't got no food. They ain't got no clothes. They don't have nothing, and they're told they're nothing. Me and sa.neter was having a conversation about the term YN. I hate that term YN because we degrading them. That term YN that we call these, what they call young niggas, the term YN, that's to further degrade these young men and women and make them feel like they have nowhere to go. And so we keep blaming them instead of being like that mayor. And that mayor said, this is a health crisis. That mayor got it right. Listen, I don't vote. I don't believe in voting or none of that. But that mayor of Baltimore should be the mayor in every black city across the world, because he would not say hip hop is the problem. He said racism was the problem. He said poverty was the problem. And he said not having access to community-oriented interventions was the problem. Resources is our problem. You start giving black men and women, especially these young black kids. I remember what happened to Boys and Girls Club. Rap music took that away. Rap music didn't take away the. Go ahead, sa.neter.
Captain, let me bring your attention to these young people right here. You talked about poverty is the problem. When you look at these young kids in Chicago, Captain, they got money, bro. These young rappers, man. What are some of them brothers that been alive? Who I'm talking about? Come on, Sanchez, you know who I'm talking about. Some of the rappers in Chicago, Lil Durk,
King Von.
These guys got money. These rappers, brother, and they show it. So definitely poverty wasn't the problem of their violence, Captain.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to tell you again, Captain, it's when you look at hip hop in our days growing up with the music that was talking about real issues about us, there was no kids killing kids. They was
Tazarach got killed.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. That you can take one out of damn near hundreds and thousands of them.
Slick Rick went to jail for robbing.
Don't cut the wisdom. Well, come on, brother. Don't cut the knowledge. So when you look at them and you look at it today, they are talking about, I'm going to go over it again, smoking packs. I smoked this nigga pack today. When you played that video of that Jew, right? Listen, Captain, when you look at our women and they go to the hospital, the doctors diagnose them and they treat them as though they treating white women. When we go to the hospital, Captain, they treat us like they're treating white men, right? So I said that to say, damn, what did I say that to say, man? You don't forget
my point. Yeah, you helping my point.
You dropped the dagger because the dagger was the drill rappers got a lot of money and they killing each other.
Exactly. That's the point.
You know why?
Damn, man, you made me forget my point.
I'll be real brief. The real reason why them drill rappers is doing that is because that's why I played that article about the PTSD that they suffer. Just because you have money does not mean your mentality changes.
Hey, Captain, I got it. So when I said, when you go to the doctor, right, and they're looking at our women as though they're white people, so they treat them like that. So when you see that doctor talking about PTSD and the children, who do you think he's talking about? He's talking about black children, Captain. He ain't talking about the white kids, because if he did, he would have told you straight up. They are the ones that's going to churches and shooting up the whole damn thing. They are not looking at, see, they're diagnosing our kids and coming up with these lies, brother.
But that's not. But what I'm saying, wait, let me respond to sa.neter. He talking directly to me. The thing about that, sa.neter, is that is supposed to let us know we have to fix the problem in our community. We keep worried about rap music. Why ain't y'all in the black? When I'm saying y'all, ain't nobody on the platform. Why ain't y'all in the black community giving them something different, giving them an outlet, being a brother? Building them, showing them something different than what they are suffering. If we don't address the problem, we could talk about rap music all day. Rap music wasn't the cause of violence before it existed. It ain't gonna be the cause of violence when it goes away. You're gonna have violence in rap music. You're gonna have violence in anything.
You know what, Captain? I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say that rap music is not the cause of violence, but rap music add on a high doses to the violence. That's what I would say, because violence was here before we was goddamn born. Right?
And I agree.
But rap music, bring a high value to the violence, though. That's what I'm gonna say. It adds on.
Let me interject real quick, right? When I'm talking about rap music being the cause of violence, I'm not talking about violence in general. I'm talking about black on black violence. And I'm
that's all I've been talking about.
Hold on, please let me finish.
Let me
get this out, because I've been waiting to get this. Tazarach and sa.neter are agreeing on violence in general, right? And I wanted to clarify that before I knew it'll probably go there at some point, that we don't want no one to dance and say about the cause of violence, because I can even agree with y'all on that. My debate is specifically black folks, which is why I said hip-hop music didn't tell me to kill the white man. So Sanchez ain't here debating violence in general. Let me put that on the table. So boom, that's out the door. Back to black on black violence. I'm finna further my point and mop the flow with this whole argument. You brought up PTSD. PTSD is caused by you living in a warfare environment. Guess what? The white man got PTSD too, but it ain't because he lived in a warfare environment in his own territory. It's because he went to your land and caused war. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. It landed on us. We get PTSD because we live in environments where we killing each other. The white man get PTSD too, but it's on the battlefield in his military, when he in Africa raping the land, when he when he raping folks, ransacking and pillaging. Yeah, he get PTSD hearing bombs and killing and shooting every day, but it's him going to get your stuff, right? When we get PTSD, it ain't because we in Europe trying to take the white man's land. It's because we cripping, blooding, banging it up, and we promote it. And there's a whole culture of music to promote this lifestyle, just like Christianity has a music called gospel rap or gospel music that promotes a lifestyle, right? We do have a music form that promotes gangster lifestyle, criminal culture, or violent culture, in particular violence against your own people. And that's why sa.neter agreed that rap is the only music form that's telling their own people to kill each other. And you know it gotta be some to it, because watch this, right? If I make a song telling brothers to kill the police, they're going to take that song down and ban it, because they know the power of song and cymatics and frequency and sound, right? So my whole thing about it is this right here. They're going to tell me to take that song down because they don't want us to talk about killing our enemy. It's a reason the Jews took over the rap music, because they can promote a self-destructive message to it, You keep bringing up PTSD, but that's a cause of violence among your own people. So you pointing out my argument, which is black on black crime, while trying to debate for violence in general. I want everyone to know that the only thing Capt can do is defend violence in general. He ain't got no smoke with me when I say it's the cause of particularly black on black violence, which is why when you bring up PTSD, it's only black on black violence that's the cause of that, whereas PTSD with the white man comes from murdering and going around trying to colonize somebody else's stuff.
I have not.
And that's why, Captain, 30 seconds. And that's why they had to get rid of Dead Prez, because Dead Prez came in with powerful, good music, trying to wake our people up. But what did they do? They boycotted them. They got them up out of here. They didn't want to hear that we're African. We're African. They didn't want to hear all that other conscious stuff coming out of these rappers' mouth, because now it might become contagious. So let's get them out of here. Rappers came forth and said that if they talk this knowledge, they're not going to make no money. The Jews are not going to put their albums out. They said that already, Captain. So that's why they want them to bring out records where you killing each other, where your women are hoes, where your women are bitches, and that's it. That's the record. Those are the ones that I'm going to promote. But what did they do when they talked about blow up like the World Trade? Don't they always bleep that out? But they'll let nigga go all the time. When Biggie said blow up like the World Trade, what do they do on the radio, Captain? Don't they bleep that out, brother? Right. But they'll let nigga go all day.
Yeah.
They'll let bitch go all day. Yep. You can talk about yourself all day, but don't talk about these Jews. When you talk about the Jews, they bleep your stuff out, brother. Right or wrong? Come on, Captain. Let me hear you say right or wrong.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that. But what I do disagree with, I've only talked about black on black crime on subject. When I pointed out the reasoning, I pointed out America being violent because it is. There's no such thing as black on black crime. That is garbage. Because if you say black on black crime, there's nobody that commits more crime against themselves than white people. White people commit more crimes on each other than they do anybody else. But I've never brought up what whites do to whites. What I'm talking about is long before hip hop existed, black people have been violent, have been destructive. That's why I brought up the history of slavery. What did slavery show? That from the time of slavery, we would be that way. Then I went into the gangs. I brought up blaxploitation in the 60s and 70s. Bloods and Crips existed before hip hop did. The gangs in Chicago existed before hip hop did. When Public Enemy is performing Night of the Living Bassheads, they got a basshead in their group named Flavor Flav. He's a full-out basshead. He would say, as they doing Night of the Living Basshead, he's on crack, Flavor Flav. Let that sit.
How you know that, Cap? I never knew that.
Let me respond to that.
Wait, I'm not finished. You said
okay.
I'm not finished.
Go ahead. My bad.
Flavor Flav said that himself.
Oh wow!
So the moment that Sanchez said blacks been violent to black, he said, I want to focus solely on black, which is all I've been doing. Is focusing on black. And gangs have existed, and it's the gangs that's been handed down generationally. You know why it's worse in 2025? I remember, I say this all the time, when dope first hit the black community, they always make it seem like the heroin dealers was respectful. They respected the mothers. There was rules. They would have, in Baltimore, they would have, we ain't doing nothing on Sunday. They used to have these so-called rules. That's only because it just started. Heroin, cocaine comes in. Crack comes in. When crack comes in, the community gets worse. Syrup comes in, the community gets worse. Dust, weed, wet, pills. It's just slowly degraded to this. So is hip hop music one of the tools that get used? Yes. But before hip hop was ever used as a tool, our own violence, our own oppression, our own community was doing this to each other. So to blame it on hip hop is utterly stupid. To blame it on hip hop. So this whole time, when anybody go back and listen, I have never used no crime in general. I've only talked about Black people. I just showed that they was influenced by other things long before hip hop came. You got it, Sanchez.
Okay, so my whole thing is when you talk about the dope and the gangs, you're right, gangs existed before hip hop. But what hip hop did when these small hats took over hip hop, they started signing nothing but gang members. They didn't sign a lot of positive people. Even to this day, if you want a record deal, you got to shoot a bunch of people or get shot a bunch of times, damn near. They don't want to sign you if you talking positive, talking good, telling people don't buy Gucci, don't buy that Louis, man. Shop with your people. What label gonna sign you talking like that? They only gonna sign you promote self-destruction. And what self-destruction? You keep bringing it up. Bloods, Crip, gangbanging. Guess what? That existed before hip-hop, and it only existed in like a few places like Chicago and LA, New York. It was rare. It wasn't even in the South yet. The gangs will tell you that because they know their history and where it started. What made gang culture, dope culture, and trap culture and drill culture go worldwide? Hip hop as we know it today is a music industry to promote the worst of our people. Not because we doing it, but because we don't control it, Captain. We haven't controlled it for decades. And ever since we lost control of it, now some people may argue if we ever had control. They've only been promote everything you name. Don't you know that these people made that its own genre for black people? For example, dope, right? They got some called trap rap, where that only promotes drug dealing and the drug selling to your people. When you talk about gangs, gangster rap, right? When sa.neter said ain't no other culture got a music genre that do that, show it to me in these other cultures. And it, because I can show you, Bloods and Crips went worldwide. When hip hop became worldwide, that's when gangs became worldwide, because hip hop get let me land my plane. Please don't let me, that's still a form of cut me off. So let me land my plane, right? You got Crips and Bloods that's rolling 60s in London, and they never been to LA. How did they learn how to wear they rags, they dickies, and all that? Through
Good point.
Music, watching it on TV. Guess what you will see? These gang members don't go all the way around the world like the white man colonizing. They spit their music and culture on the album, and wherever we see hip hop get popular at, we see them people over there trying to take on gang banging now and trying to. Even when I was in Korea, I saw Koreans trying to act hip hop and wear they hat like us. Like we said, everybody copy off us, right? And it shows you what do they copy? The worst of our stereotypes, man. Because that's what they see that the enemy is promoting from our people. He ain't promoting the best of our people through hip hop.
Those Asians and Chinese, are they killing each other in the name of hip hop?
Let me answer that right now. Ain't nobody killing each other in the name of hip hop but black people. And they're doing it because the music we listen to, it tells us to kill us, which is why I ask you, show me the other people who got music that tells
so why
them
did the people in Baltimore, when they got the opportunities, why did they stop?
One city.
You gotta once again.
I can answer you. I can answer
what makes Baltimore the greatest, because Baltimore was a slumlord. So why would they? Yeah, answer.
I'm gonna tell you this right here. If your argument you bringing up with Baltimore is what made them people stop committing crime because basically the mayor did his job, right? Here go my thing, right? You're acting like we some Africans in a third world country. You got people in Africa worse than people in Baltimore. They ain't killing like Baltimore, crime heights and all like that. It is directly answered. It's showing you that your argument is flawed. That's why you can only point out one case scenario.
But I can only point to one case that actually cared about black people. The point in pulling up Baltimore was crime ridden. Baltimore was a slumlord. They called it trash. You did not live in Baltimore. And then a brother came and didn't say, hey, cut all the drill music off. The brother said, we gonna call it racism first. Why did he say, Baltimore has the least violence since 1974, nigga.
I know, but it's still violent. It's slowed down, but it's still
I didn't say
violent.
that there was no violence, but it has the least violence since 1974. It's 2025. That's almost 50 years. And he did it. 1 second. He did it by not changing what they listened to, not changing what they watched. He changed it by taking responsibility for his city. That's the mayor. If you're the mayor of the city, you're supposed to be in charge of not just where the rich white people live, you're supposed to be in charge where the poor people live. But nobody ever gave a damn about the poor black people, as you and I would both agree. And then this black mayor came and he cared about the poor people. You know why he called it racism? Because he knew think about what you and sa.neter are saying. You and sa.neter, come on.
Hold on a second. Let me ask you a question. I want to make sure I heard you right. You said no one cared but this Baltimore mayor. You keep saying that. I want to. Okay, I'll pick your mind about it when you're done.
No problem.
Go ahead.
No problem. Think about what you and sa.neter was saying. You and sa.neter saying how the small hats come and conjure up this plan, which I ain't gonna disagree with, to make sure we put out this certain type of music. You don't think that mayor is up there with them white folks and don't know that they got a plan to keep Baltimore like a slum? And instead of giving in to what the white man said, like that bitch ass nigga that listened to that bitch ass nigga that you put in that live. Who was that? Busy Bone, one of them Bone Thug niggas? That's a bitch ass nigga because he went with the program. The mayor of Baltimore did not go with the program. The mayor of Baltimore addressed the racism, the lack of opportunities, and the poverty that they was into. And once he cared, gave them access to resources that everybody should have access to, the crime dropped. Okay. So I can only, and that's a city. That ain't no nigga's family. That ain't your uncle. That ain't one person. That's the city.
Here go my problem with that argument, Cap. You keep saying that when he fed the people, they behave better. But my whole thing.
Why you keep saying feed? I didn't say nothing about no damn feed, man. Don't do that.
This is what I'm telling you, right? You keep saying that
that's people, disingenuous when you do that.
This is why I do that. You keep using the words poverty and poor to blame on why the people are violent because they are lacking certain resources and that the mayor provided those and it stopped the violence. That's why I'm saying hungry, because you brought up the
that ain't the only thing that I just said. I brought up
I ain't saying it's the only thing.
That's the only thing you keep saying.
I'm trying to make a point. Minor. No, you won't let me finish.
Years, you won't let the lowest records of violence in 51 years, and you trying to make it about food.
You gotta calm down now, brother. You gotta let me land.
All I'm asking is to be honest in your response.
But
that's
you
all
ain't
I'm
even letting me respond though. You don't know where I'm gonna go.
You're not
jumping the gun.
All right, y'all. Come on. Captain, it's about that time anyway. So Sanchez,
he didn't let me respond, sa.neter.
Yeah, let him respond and then I'll respond.
Go ahead, Sanchez.
Like, when you cut a person off prematurely and then accuse them of lying, that's very dishonest. But I'll give you a pass for that, and I'll say this real quick. I'm gonna keep my energy the same, right? Respect, man. You using words like poverty, poor. You brought up a scenario where a brother stealing to feed himself. So I'm saying that the Baltimore mayor provided resources. I would say if there are areas where ISUPK at, they should be doing what the Baltimore mayor did in that area to get the same results. Because if you're saying he's the only one cared, you're saying not even your organization care enough like the Baltimore mayor to mimic what he did in y'all area and clean it up tomorrow, because the Hebrews are in Vegas, they in LA, they everywhere. And these are cities that's suffering the same thing Baltimore suffering from. Is what you're saying is true. It should be nothing for everyone else to do what he did and stop it, which is the argument you're making. But apparently no one cared enough but him. And that's why I asked you that before you answered. I wanted you to really think about that. But I'll say this, man. This debate discussion is still not a debate if you ask me, because I think it was good energy. But the whole thing I'll say is this: when we talk about drill rappers, they ain't some poor, starving kids. The average cat in Chicago, LA, they got Jordans on their feet. They got a little jewelry on. It ain't like they the kids in Africa with their ribs out, so they got to go kill and steal from each other. Because if they really wanted to do it to get rich, they'll be like Robin Hood and take from the rich and give to the poor. But they robbing other brothers that look like them in the same situation. So that's my problem with really going with what you saying with the Baltimore argument. But that's why that's not a worldwide thing. But you know, salutes to you, man. I know sa.neter was trying to get in, so that was my response. Yeah.
All right, Captain, go ahead, your response.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think this is pretty clear. Like you said, it's just a discussion. It's not a
debate
like that. But I think what everybody need to understand, the reason why I keep talking about poverty is because even the Bible says oppression make a wise man mad. You put someone in poverty without parents, drug infested. The reason why I played that PTSD, because that's what these young children are suffering. They're suffering from PTSD. They're suffering from, how do I live? A 7-year-old kid, an 8-year-old kid, a 13-year-old kid. I remember when I was coming up at 11 years old, no, 9 years old, 10 years old, I ain't got nothing to eat. And the cat says, hey, if you take this package up here and just drop it off, I'm going to give you $25. That shit was like heaven to me. And that's all it takes because you're in such a poor condition. That ain't hip hop. That's poverty. That's poor. And the drug dealers know exactly how to do that. You know why the drug dealers flash they stuff in it? Because they want to be rappers. It's because they know it enticed the youth to do that.
Question,
so
Captain. Be careful, Captain. Be very careful on this right here.
Okay.
Why do the children suffer PTSD, Captain? Can you break that down again?
It's a lot of things because they don't have a father in the home.
That right there, that's all I need you to answer, brother. And you answered it right. You see, remember we had a show and the sisters was on it and we talked about the fathers leaving the home.
Right.
And we talked about how that right there is a heavy responsibility on the woman. But a lot of y'all defended that. Y'all went against that and blamed the women for what's going on in the home. But see, the daddies, they are the ones that lead the home. It's not that the woman puts them out all the time. Sometimes they're weak and they can't handle their responsibility. And so they get the woman pregnant and they jet out and leave that woman to bear with the kids by herself. But go ahead, that's a different topic. But I'm going to let me let Captain finish because I cut him off and then go ahead, Sanchez.
No, I was good. No, I was done because I'm gonna get up out of here in a second. So I do appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. If y'all want to do a part 2 or you got another subject, Sanchez, we ain't got together in a minute. So if you want to get another subject or something like that, just let me know.
Oh, for sure, man. I got some Bible stuff that's more along like nerdy theological stuff. I'm gonna be coming at you with it.
Okay, I'm down for it.
All right, hey Sanchez, close us out. And then I'm going to have Captain close us out. Close us out, Sanchez.
PTSD, y'all, is from living in a wartime environment. Captain said a wartime environment is due to poverty. He's right. But hip-hop tell a black man in the hood in poverty how to respond to his condition. And that's to sell dope to your auntie. That's to kick down your brother's dope, right? It don't tell your brother in poverty, go to Europe and invade their land. That's what the white man do, which is why I say, you know, a lot of people are in poverty, but their reaction to it ain't self-destruction and to, you know, kill their own. You know what I'm saying? Which is why a lot of our enemies' gangs is racial and ours are like street gangs. But I hear what Captain's saying. I think we agreeing on a lot of stuff if y'all really take this back, which is why I'm glad we labeled it a discussion. I won't be long-winded. I guess I'll stop right there, man. That's appreciate everybody in the chat room on both sides, and to you too, sa.neter. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna say real quick, I'm closing out. Captain, I give this discussion a 1 and 1. I think both of y'all did great. You killed it on the first one with the woman, and I think Sanchez came in and killed it on this hip-hop thing. So I look at it as a 1 and 1 thing here. I mean, even Steven, it was a great discussion on both sides. But go ahead, Captain. You can close out.
No, I appreciate it. It was definitely a good discussion. I think we have to stop blaming the children. Hip hop is the child when it comes to the problems that plague Black America. So as a child, of course, the child does a lot of things wrong, and that's what hip hop does. It does a lot of things wrong. But when we talking about the parents, that's the root cause of the problem. If we ain't talking about the church, if we ain't talking about the gangs, if we ain't talking about all of the elements that created this generation of people, this generation in 2025 was created by the parents. And if we just blame the children, you're never going to fix the problem. We have to accept accountability for the actions that we created. So I appreciate Sanchez, sa.neter as always. That's my man. I always come on this platform. And until next time, shalom.
Peace. All right. Peace, Sanchez. We out.
Peace and love.
All right.
All right.